Hello to my friends at home. Yes, you, right there with your morning coffee or afternoon tea. I have some very big, very sad news to share. News that comes not just with surprise, but with a quiet ache. It's about two people many of us have welcomed into our living rooms and into our daily lives. Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos. They've been together for decades. They've shared their joys and their trials with us. And today we're going to walk through something deeply human. The loss, the grief, the strength that comes from a partnership tested by life's hardest moments. Stay with me, because if you've ever loved someone, lost something, or simply wondered how we keep going when pain finds us, then this story is for you. It began like any other day on their show. Smiles, banter, the familiar energy of a long-running partnership. But then, Kelly and Mark made what they called one of the toughest decisions we've ever had to make. A statement that stopped many viewers in their tracks. What was the decision? Their beloved dog Chewy, a family member for 17 years, had reached the end of her time. The kind of bond you feel after years of companionship, the late-night cuddles, the walks, the small rituals of life. They had to say goodbye. You might think it was just their dog, but in truth, this moment touched on something deeper. The recognition that time marches on, that mortality touches us all. For a couple who have shared nearly 30 years of public life, this moment of private sorrow became a public reflection on love, loss, and what comes next. And that's just where our story begins. To understand the weight of this moment, we must look back. Kelly and Mark met way back in the mid-1990s on the set of the soap opera All My Children. Kelly says that the person responsible for introducing them was casting director Judy Bly Wilson. "Without you, I would literally have nothing," Kelly once said. They married in 1996. They built a home, raised 3 children, and forged an image of enduring partnership. Many of us watching thought, there's something solid here. They weathered the spotlight, the demands of show business, the ups and the downs. So when they brought on the grief over Chewy, it wasn't just about a pet. It was a couple confronted with the passage of time and our own reflections of that time. It made us think of our own journeys, the joys, the losses, the faces around our dinner tables, and the echoes in once full rooms. But what's next? How do you move forward when something you've loved so long is gone? Stay with me. The next part holds that answer. Loss is messy. It's not tidy. Kelly and Mark spoke candidly about the sorrow. Chewy had stopped eating, had neurological problems. The decision to say goodbye was heartbreaking. Now, here's the surprising part. They were okay being vulnerable with us. For many of us in the 60 to 65 age range, we've experienced loss. Parents, friends, pets, health changes, and sometimes it feels isolating. But a celebrity couple, living in full view, they allowed us to see the grief. And that teaches something. Grief doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. And beyond that, they faced the future. They shared that they were considering adopting another dog. Even in the midst of grief, they left space for hope, for new life. This is what I want you to hold on to. The courage to feel, the willingness to hope, and a question. What is your Chewy? What have you loved and lost? And what are you brave enough to face next? We'll circle back in a moment. So, what does it look like when two people stay together, publicly and privately? Kelly and Mark have been candid about work, about marriage, about aging. For instance, Kelly once said she resents that Mark just isn't aging in the same way she is. They host a show together, they share laughs, but they also share the real stuff. Snoring, bedtime scrolling, daily annoyances. It's not glamorous. It's life. And therein lies the lesson. After you've known someone for decades, the big moments still matter, but so do the small ones. The "I'm sorry," the "can you help me with this," the comfort of silence. In the wake of their grief, their partnership shines because it doesn't pretend. It says, "We are sad. We are together. We'll figure out next steps." And for viewers like you, who maybe have been married a long time, or maybe lost a companion, or maybe are redefining what partnership means in later life, this is something to carry with you. But hold on, we're not done yet. There is one more twist, one more insight that will surprise you, and yes, leave you thinking. Here's what surprised me most. In speaking of loss, Kelly and Mark also spoke of renewal. They acknowledged the emptiness, the pain, yet they did not stop living. Not completely. They embraced the possibility of new love in the form of a new dog, a companion, a small step toward healing. Why does that matter for you? Because in our 60s, we often believe that once a big chapter closes, the next chapter is less. Less love, less excitement, less purpose. They challenge that assumption. Picture this. They've watched their children grow, their careers evolve, their lives change, and yet still they open the door to tomorrow. That's powerful. That gives permission to sit with your own losses and then ask, what's next for me? And here comes the cliffhanger, the moment we leave you with. What if your next chapter is still waiting, and what if it's richer because you've been through the hard stuff? I invite you, dear listener, to imagine what you might now choose in your 60s with all your experience, all your love, all your heart. Maybe it's reconnecting with a friend. Maybe it's volunteering. Maybe it's opening your heart again. We'll leave that question hanging because the story doesn't end here. So, let's bring it home. Kelly and Mark's story reminds us of 4 things. Loss happens, whether it's a pet, a partner, a dream. They faced it. We all do. Partnership matters, not just in the big gestures, but in the daily staying with each other. Hope doesn't vanish. Even when the moment is darkest, the tiny door to possibility remains. And the next chapter is for you. Age doesn't close the book. It adds richer pages. If you are in your 60s, if you've loved, if you've lost something, and maybe are wondering, now what? Watch what Kelly and Mark did. Grieved, stayed together, considered new life, and embraced the unknown. If you feel moved, I invite you to pause this video, take a moment with your thoughts. What have you loved? What have you let go of? And what might you open your heart to next? I promise, the answer doesn't have to be grand, just honest. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for the life you have lived, the loves you've had, the losses you've endured, and for being brave enough to sit in this moment. Until next time, take good care of yourself, and remember, even the saddest news can lead you to an unexpected, hopeful beginning. Stay strong, stay hopeful. See you in the next video.